All right, so this would be our model for that last problem that we just looked at. So the initial velocity was 108 feet per second. So since our units are feet per second, we're going to use the 32 for gravity. We're going to use 108 for v sub 0. We were told that the ball left at an angle of 30 degrees. So that's what we're using for theta. And then the initial height of the ball when it was hit was 2 feet. So that's where the plus 2 comes in. So make sure you have the t here, t squared and t here, and this would just be a constant. So if we're trying to solve this one on the graphing calculator, the first thing we have to do is make sure we're in the correct modes. So when you press the mode button, making sure degree and parametric are highlighted because we're using degrees for our angle and we're obviously in parametric mode. And then we would type the two models in here. What you just need to make sure of, I have some extra parentheses here, but you just want to make sure that the t is not in the parenthesis with the 30. All right, so when you press cosine, they start a parenthesis. You have to type in the 30 and then shut that parenthesis. So I put an extra set of parentheses and run the 108 cosine of 30. But really, you just need to make sure that you shut the parenthesis after the 30 for the t. And same thing for the middle term here. And then the plus 2, you just can't see it at the end. Before you hit graph, you want to make sure you set up an appropriate window. So t min, t max. T stands for time. So we're going to do, this is 0 to 10. All right, pretty sure that the ball is not going to be in the air for more than 10 seconds. And then 0.1 is every step that they're going to graph a point. X min, X is your horizontal distance, so 0 to 350, since we know the fence is at 310 feet. And then the maximum height, I'm not really sure, so I just went 0 to 100. And then you'll see the path of the particle when you hit the graph button. All right. You also want to make sure that when you're graphing, none of your plots are highlighted. Make sure that plot 1, plot 2, and plot 3 are all turned off. So then to answer the question, if you press the trace button and then use your right arrow key, you can trace the points of this curve. And when we get here, we can see that the height of the ball is 5.96 feet when it's 308.65 feet from home plate. But then if you hit the next trace, it goes past 310 and then it's below. So it's kind of hard to tell if it's going to clear the fence. It looks like it's going to, but we can't be absolutely certain. So what you could do is we could set up a table and look at points that are in between here. Because the t-step was set at 0.1, when you hit trace, it's only tracking the t values that go every 0.1. So you start at 0, then 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and then going up to 3.3. So since we know 3.3 is close to where it is, we're going to set up our table. So if you hit second window, because it says table set right above it, so you hit the second window button and it will bring you to this screen. We want to start our table at 3.3 since we know that that's pretty close to where the ball is going to be 310 feet from home plate. So, but then we want to set our delta table smaller than 0.1. So we want to look at points that are in smaller increments to get a better idea. So I just picked 0.01. You don't want to set it too small because then you end up doing a lot of scrolling, which can take some time. So start your table at 3.3, go by 0.01. And then if you go to your table, so if you hit the second graph button, because right above it says table, so you hit second graph, it'll bring you to this table. And now we can start to see some more points. So starting at 3.3, we knew this. This was the point that the graph gave us. But now as we scroll down, we can start to see when we get 310 feet from home plate, this one's actually past 310 because it's 310.5. We are at a height of 4.92 feet. So yes, we will clear the 4-foot fence. And here we can now definitely be sure. We're at the 308, 5.96. We weren't 100% sure that it was going to clear the fence. But now that I'm looking at these points, we can definitely tell even here, when the ball is 311.46 feet from home plate, it's still at a height above 4 feet. All right. So yes, this will clear the plate. So I'm going to show you how to solve this one algebraically as well. So this is using the graphing calculator method. And remember, when you're doing the homework problems, even if you're using the graphing calculator, you still need to set up your system and write this down and then justify your answer. All right, so you would say, looking at the table at 3.32 seconds, the height of the ball is 4.92 feet and 310.52 feet from home plate. Therefore, yes, it will be a home run. Don't just say yes or no. Okay, so make sure that you're showing your system and you're explaining your answer. And if it asks you to sketch the graph, then you can do a sketch of the graph that we did as well. Okay, so on the last one, I'm going to show you how to solve this algebraically.